PBnZ Sports Chaos. And look who's here. G-Money. That
Hey,
means we got
gentlemen.
money on the line today. We got
Always.
our bets. It's a Super Bowl show. It's the men's weekend. Guys, is this our Christmas day?
This is 100%.
Yes, you
Love the
know
Super
it,
Bowl.
right?
Love it. All you got to do all day is drink, eat, and watch football. What's better?
Sounds like every Sunday in the fall.
Yeah, true. But at least this one here, it's like more at stake. It's the last game. It's like the last hurrah. You go out with a bang.
All right, boys, we did our first show back in the summer in this wicker patio, and we talked about this. We all said it would probably be the Chiefs. I don't think we all said it would be the Philly Eagles. I don't remember. Do you guys remember?
I think I said the Eagles, or at least had them in the conference championship. It was Eagles or Detroit. I had one of the two.
All right, I know I had the Ravens. That's for sure. I
I had
screwed up on
Buffalo.
that.
I think I had Buffalo in either the Eagles or Buffalo and Detroit. One of the two.
All right,
Okay. I had Detroit and KC.
all right. So I got one thing I'm going to say. The coach of Philadelphia and the coach of Detroit, I don't believe either of those guys could win an NFL championship. Now, having said that, I want to hear what you guys think about it. We'll talk about it in a minute. But you know what I love about the Super Bowl? The freaking prop bets. G Money, give me a prop bet you're going for.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I really like, and no one's taking it, but I like it. Hopkins anytime TD plus 450. They got him for a reason. He's a stud. He's old, but I think he gets a TD. I think they feed him the ball just so he could say he scored a TD in the Super Bowl. He had I wouldn't call it a Hall of Fame career, but he had a hell of a career, potentially Hall of Fame career. I think he scores a TD.
That's a good D Hop for plus
Yeah.
450.
Plus 450. $100 gives you 450. Yeah.
That's a really he's an outstanding wide receiver. I agree with you. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
He's underutilized,
Wow.
but I think they'll utilize him in the Super Bowl. I think they feel obligated almost.
Wow, that's a good bet. What do you say, PB?
I got a bet here it's plus 400. So it's
Okay.
4-1 odds that this happens. I got Harrison Butker kicks at least 2 field goals. Saquon Barkley scores a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes passes for over 225 yards.
Okay.
And DeAndre Hopkins receives over 11 and a half or 12 yards. 12 yards receiving. So it's
That's a
basically
bet. That's a
that's
bet.
basically you can make any prop you want.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
that's
Oh,
yeah. So I think DeAndre Hopkins 12 yards is, I mean, G Money just said he's going to get a touchdown. I don't
I
think
agree.
12 yards receiving is like one catch to me,
I
right?
agree. Yep.
Mahomes 225. I mean, that's like all day.
All
But
day. All day.
Saquon gets a touchdown.
All
I mean,
day. All
and
day.
Bucket kicks 2 field goals.
All
So you like that one?
you know what? I'll say this. When we make our game picks in a minute, Bucker on that pick, if he kicks two, they win the game. But we'll talk about that momentarily. G Money, what's your other what else you got for a prop bet you like?
You know what I really like, and it hasn't happened, I want to say since maybe Tampa, the first Tampa Super Bowl, back with I could be wrong. It was a long time.
Brad Johnson.
Huh?
Probably Brad Johnson.
No, I'm saying Jalen Carter MVP because if Philly wins, it's because of him. And I don't. When's the last time a defensive player won? I was thinking it was wasn't it the
Oh.
or was it Oakland? I think it was the Raiders with what's his name? He was a linebacker. He was a one and done. He had a crazy like Super Bowl.
Yeah. I know. I can't remember either, but I know who you're talking about. Yes.
It's been a long time, but I think if the Eagles
But
win,
no. Ray Lewis was our MVP after that.
oh, he did win the MVP.
Yes, he did.
Okay. So I think if the Phillies win, it's because of Jalen Carter because they have a suspect. Casey has a suspect offensive line. So if they win, it's because of Jalen Carter, and if that hits, that's plus 5,000. So I'm not going to put more than $10 on it. I put $10 on it to win 500 or whatever. But I mean, yeah, plus 5,000. I think if there's going to be a defensive player, it's him.
So you put money on that?
I will $10, maybe 20 max.
PB, what do you got money on?
Well, while I was thinking of that, let's talk about another bet involving Jalen Carter. So I have this is plus 1100, right? So 11-1 odds. that Jalen Carter records a sack, Chris Jones records a sack,
Yeah.
and George Karlaftis records a sack. Those
I
three
think
guys
that's
record a sack. It's 11-1.
That's
I
good.
like that.
Yeah, I like that as well.
That's a pretty good bet. That's a good. Wow. What do you? Hey, what? $10 gets you what?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd probably put 5 on it. Would pay 55, so you can get your $60. 5 to make 60.
Oh, okay, all right. That's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Jay, what else you got?
I like to do both sides of the coin. So if I'm doing MVP for the Eagles, just in case I'm wrong, I hedge with the MVP for the Chiefs. And I think if the Chiefs win, I think America, I think the country, and I think everyone, because the whole Taylor Swift shit, I think Kelsey wins the MVP if he does anything this game, and that's plus 1,600.
So you got Kelsey to win 1,600 because of Taylor Swift.
It's a conspiracy, yeah, but I think honestly, if the Chiefs win and he has a game that I think he's gonna have a big game, I think he wins the MVP. And at plus 1,600 odds, I would probably put 25 on that, 25 on Jalen Carter, and I think one of those hits. I mean, whoever wins will get the MVP usually.
Wow. All right.
Kind of a hedge, if you will.
All right.
Right.
BB, what do you got? What else
So
you
I'm
got?
just gonna add a player to my 4-teamer that I mentioned before. So I had the one earlier with Bucket kicking 2 field goals, Saquon getting a touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins gets at least 12 yards receiving, and Mahomes has 225 yards passing. That was 4-1. I'm gonna add one more thing to that. We'll make it an 8-1 bet plus 800, and that's Hollywood Brown catches over 40 yards
Hey, PB,
receiving.
I got an idea for you on that. I mean, don't, stick with who you got or maybe add an extra one, but I like I don't like it straight up because I like things that are good odds, but I like Hurts to score at anytime TD. It's like minus 130, but that's good in a parlay. I wouldn't take it straight up because I like plus odds, but that would be
Right.
put in a parlay because he's gonna score. I mean, if they're in the 1 yard line, they're doing
I
it.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And I could actually layer that, add that, and add the Hollywood Brown catches over
There you
40
go.
yards. And then that would probably push it up to about 15 or 16-1.
That's not bad. I
Um,
mean, I like the Hertz one, but not single. I just don't like to spend 130 to win 100. But I will throw them in a parlay, kind of like what you're doing. And those I didn't really think out. Those will be tomorrow things, but I'm going to mix a bunch of these together in a parlay.
right. Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, let's get down to the real thing right now. All right, PB, I'll start with you. What does Philly have to do to win the game?
Oh man. They gotta, their defense can't have a lapse because we've seen this year. One thing about Kansas City's defense is they've been consistent throughout the year. Philly has had lapses on defense. If they have a lapse on defense and let the Chiefs score pretty much at will, which is not their forte, that's not what they do this year, right? This year they do what they have to win. They win games by 3 points. They
Right.
they just
Right.
play solid, consistent football throughout the day. If they have a lapse, let's say like they did against the Commanders in the regular season, not the playoff game, in the regular season, where they let up 38 points. They've had other lapses I think against Baltimore, I think when Baltimore wasn't playing that well, scored a ton of points against them as well. So if they have one of these lapses and Kansas City just does what they do and run plays and they can't stop them, and I don't even say it has to be on the ground. I'm not even going to say Kansas City has to do this on the ground. They could do it through the air. Then they're done. They're done. So they gotta. And I like, G Money's theory that if the Eagles win, it's going to be because of Jalen Carter. That their defense has to step up. I'm not worried about their offense needing to win this game. Their defense needs to win the game.
All right, G Money, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I honestly, this is what the fourth Super Bowl for the Chiefs, right? I think this is the best team they played. I think this Philly team is the most complete
I
team,
agree.
most complete team in the last 5 Super Bowls. I mean, they're phenomenal. Their defense is top, I think number 1, if not top 3. Their offense hasn't really, lived up to the potential, but they have 2 studs at wide receiver. They got Barkley, he's having the best year of running back in a long time. They got Hurts, who's finally piecing it all together and healthy. They got an elite offensive line. They finally have defensive backs that can play. Granted, two of them are rookies, but they're playing lights out. And they got great defensive line. Their linebackers are a weakness because they had that major injury with
Yeah.
Dean. But Burks, he was in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, he's tried and true. He's been in the Super Bowl. I think that the Chiefs, granted, their record's phenomenal this year, but they got lucky a lot. I mean, this is the least talented Chiefs team in the Super Bowl era that they've been in. And I think this is the most talented team they've come up against. I think Philly is going to beat them, but I think it's still going to be a 3-point game either way. And that leads me to a prop I didn't mention. But if you bet on, $100 on 0-3 victory by the Chiefs and 0-3 victory by the Eagles, I don't think you can go wrong because it's going to be a field goal game either way. I mean,
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Hey, PB, I'll ask you a question. What does so you have KC winning, obviously, right now, right?
Me? I haven't made my decision yet.
All right. What does the other team need to do better than you didn't explain before?
Monkey.
What does the Chiefs need to do
Yes.
to win?
Yes.
Yeah. They need to be able to throw the ball effectively. I'm not going to say run the ball, control the clock, keep Philly off the field type of thing. I think Philly almost, I think KC almost wants a shootout. I think they want to create a type of game where they start to realize that maybe we shouldn't be giving it to Saquon as much. We need to start throwing the ball a little bit more and just kind of putting Philly on their heels a little bit by realizing they can move the ball up and down the field and score. Pacheco has been an absolute, shadow of himself this whole playoffs, and the guy's doing nothing, right? Kareem Hunt, he's okay. He's good around the goal line, but they're not going to be running the football up and down the field. That's not how they're going to win. So their key to victory, throw the football, throw it successfully, leverage Kelsey. If Kelsey's doubled, get Gray involved, get all your receivers involved. You're going to see Worthy. You're going to see Hollywood Brown. You're going to see Hopkins. You're going to see Juju. All these guys are going to have multiple catches, I think, in this game.
All right. G-Money.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask you for your pick yet, but what does the other team have to do to win the game?
Well, I mean, it's simple. For the Chiefs to win, they're going to stop Barkley. It's obviously, it goes without saying, but if they could somehow stop him, keep him under 100 yards, then the Phillies, not Phillies, but the Eagles cannot beat them being one-dimensional. But if they can't stop Barkley and they open up play action and then they get some passing plays, I don't think the Eagles may stop. And on the flip side, if the Chiefs, if they cannot get Kelsey a big game because he's the difference maker in this game just because of the weakness of the Eagles right now.
Good point. Good
Kelsey
point.
gets stopped and they keep Kelsey under, let's call it 70 yards. They can't win because their wide receivers aren't gonna beat the Eagles wide receiver cornerbacks. I mean, they're talented. Their safeties are talented. So Kelsey's the difference maker on offense for the Chiefs, and Barkley's the difference maker on offense for the Phillies. And if one stops the other, then that's a difference maker.
Kelsey can also have an effect without catching a lot of balls because if he gets double,
no, I agree because the second tight end they have is pretty decent. What's his name?
Noah Gray.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Well, by the way, PB, it goes back to your thought. The wide receivers, Hopkins and Juju, if they have a big freaking game, it's because Kelsey is double team, right?
Yep. And that's why I think they'll all get it. Worthy, Juju, Hollywood Brown, Hopkins. I think they all are pretty heavily involved in this game.
Now, I got a question for you, gentlemen. And I know this is kind of off script, but has the Chiefs seen a defensive line as good as the Eagles this year? Because the Houston, they have a good defensive line. They have those two studs, and they destroyed the Chiefs' offensive line. Chiefs still won, but they made it difficult for Mahomes. Have they seen anything like the Eagles? I don't know if they have.
That's a good question. I don't think they have. G-Man, I don't think they have.
And I think their offensive line's a weakness. I think they got two studs and then three weak guys, in my opinion.
But I will add this though. They moved Tootie, the Patriot,
Yep.
over to left tackle, and they've been much better since he moved over to left tackle. I don't remember the stats, but it's been unbelievable what Tooney's done at left tackle.
Well, the problem with that, though, is Jalen Carter prefers to rush from the inside. So without him in the inside, that's a liability.
Yep. No, I totally agree. Totally agree. Totally. I will say this. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a much more talented team. Who's the better coach, Andy Reid or Nick Sirianni?
Reid.
Nick Sirianni,
Hands down, Reid.
yeah,
Hands
all
down.
day long, right? All day long. He's going to be Belichick status if he wins this game. Do you agree?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I'd say. He's
already
definitely up there.
He's already second or third best coach of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's start with our picks. PB, who covers, who wins?
Oh, well, the line's a point. So, I mean, it's almost a moot point, right? Because it doesn't really matter. In my heart, I want the Eagles to win. I want the Eagles to win. I have a ton of friends that
By
are
the
Eagles
way,
fans.
as all us guys in Boston, we definitely want the
Don't-
Eagles to win because
Right. We don't want.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
The Patriots have been discarded, right, for all we did.
Yep. Yep. I don't think they'll be discarded, but there will be another team that had a dynasty that was as good or better than the Patriots dynasty, right? So for that reason, my heart is saying go Philly. And my head is torn because I agree with G Money. This is a better team roster top to bottom by
Right.
far.
Right.
But there's something that is going to happen that's going to be a mistake. The Eagles are going to make a mistake, and the Chiefs are going to capitalize on that mistake. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be something that happens. And I think coaching is going to definitely come and play. You're still talking about NFL caliber players on both sides of the ball here.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of magic at the end, and somehow the Chiefs pull this off. I agree with G Money. It's a close game, under 3 points. I'm going to go 25-23 Chiefs.
All right. What do you got, G Money?
I have, like I said earlier, I think other than quarterback, the Eagles are more talented in every position.
I agree with you. Every position.
Their offensive line is much better. The defensive line, their cornerbacks, everything, and their wide receivers, their running back, obviously. And I honestly think the Chiefs have a winning pedigree, Super Bowl pedigree, better coach, and only because of that do they keep it close. But I have the Eagles winning 30-27. And I think this is their year, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to make history. I really don't.
Wow. All right. Here are my thoughts. G Money, I totally agree with you. The better roster is the Eagles all day long. But PB, Andy Reid, Kelsey, and Mahomes. Unfortunately, that recipe does not lose the game. They win this freaking thing. And I hate to say it. Oh my God. Andy Reid may be better than Belichick after this game. Who knows? We'll see. But I don't want it to happen. I do not want it to happen.
Neither do I. What's your score?
27-24 because you know why? Nick Sirianni blows it. He's the worst freaking. Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni will never win a Super Bowl ever in my lifetime. I guarantee that.
Now, do you guys think, and this is once again off script, but do you think the refs are going to come to play because there has been some questionable calls this playoffs?
No,
they're going to let him play.
Yeah,
I think they'll let him play.
They'll let him play. Hold on.
If anything, they overcompensate maybe a little bit.
And maybe give a few plays to the Eagle, a few calls. To the Eagles.
I think, or they just don't call stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
By the way, G Money's little girl is adding a lot of quality to our show.
Oh, really? A lot of work.
Nice. All right, boys. We will talk later. We'll see how we make on your bets. We'll see. All right. We'll talk next week.
Let's go. Thank you, guys.
All right. Sounds good.